The story, titled Kimi no Suizou wo Tabetai, which translates to I want to eat your pancreas, might sound unsettling at first, but it's actually a deeply emotional and bittersweet tale. It follows the quiet, reserved Haruki Shiga and a vibrant high school girl named Sakura Yamauchi, who is secretly battling a terminal pancreatic illness. The film opens on a somber note with Sakura's funeral, setting a melancholic tone that reflects the impact she had on those around her, especially Haruki, her classmate, and the person who grew closest to her in her final days. The narrative then rewinds to the beginning of their unlikely connection. While waiting at a hospital, Haruki stumbles upon a diary lying on the floor. As he flips through its pages, he discovers a personal account revealing the author's grim diagnosis. Just then, Sakura appears, claiming the diary as her own. She candidly shares her situation with him, mentioning that she has only a few months left to live. Surprisingly, Haruki reacts with calm detachment, neither panicking nor pitying her. Rather than being offended, Sakura is amused by his unbothered demeanor. It's a reaction unlike any she's faced. Their brief encounter ends as Haruki is called away, but Sakura, intrigued by his indifference and longing for companionship, decides to pursue a friendship with him. She asks him to keep her secret, a request he accepts without hesitation, as he himself is isolated and friendless. While Haruki assumes their interaction is over, Sakura makes an unexpected move. She becomes a library assistant, just like him. Their shared duties pull them into each other's orbits, despite Haruki's aloofness. Undeterred by his indifference, Sakura's lively and fearless nature shines through, and she begins to draw him into her world, slowly breaking down his walls. Sakura, fully aware that her time was limited, had created a list of things she wished to experience before her life ended. What made this list unique was her desire to complete each item with Haruki, the one person who knew about her illness. At first, Haruki was reluctant, unsure about getting involved, but Sakura's persistence eventually softened him. He agreed to one of her wishes, eating her favorite meal at a restaurant. During their outing, Haruki shared an odd anecdote from a TV show he'd seen, where people in ancient times would consume body parts they associated with ailing organs, like eating intestines for intestinal pain. With her usual playful tone, Sakura joked that she wanted to eat his pancreas to heal hers. As always, Haruki met her humor with a blank expression, but Sakura wasn't discouraged. Curious about him, she asked why he had no friends, commenting that he didn't seem nearly as boring as he believed himself to be. Haruki explained that he often assumed others found him dull, though it was just a guess. Sakura encouraged him to stop relying on assumptions and see himself through others' eyes, reminding him that not everyone saw him the way he feared. After all, she certainly didn't. Their walk after lunch took a dramatic turn when they witnessed an elderly woman struck by a bicycle in a zone where bikes weren't allowed. The rider shamelessly blamed the woman for blocking the road, and although many bystanders saw what happened, none stepped in. Haruki, preferring to avoid conflict, urged Sakura to leave, but she refused. Instead, she boldly confronted the cyclist, accusing him of wrongdoing and threatening to report him. Her courage and sense of justice stood in stark contrast to the apathy around them. Just as tensions rose, a patrol officer arrived and broke up the scene. Before leaving, Sakura defiantly kicked the man and ran off with Haruki, the two of them eventually stopping in front of a quaint spot called the Spring Cafe. Sakura found herself drawn to the Spring Cafe, not just for its charm, but because its name felt like a reflection of her own. While they sat there, she earnestly asked Haruki for his phone number, subtly revealing how serious she was about having him by her side until her final moments. The next morning, Haruki felt a shift. His classmates were staring at him, whispering, making him uneasy. Word of his growing closeness with Sakura had spread, sparked by a video of the incident where she stood up for the elderly woman. Many couldn't understand why someone as bright and beloved as Sakura would associate with Haruki, a boy seen as gloomy and unremarkable. They believed she belonged with someone like Takahiro, the well-liked, high-achieving class president. Even Sakura's best friend Kyoko disapproved of Haruki from the start. Feeling the pressure, Haruki confronted Sakura in the library and asked her to stop spending time with him, wanting to avoid unnecessary attention. He even declined her next invitation from her wish list. But as always, Sakura's persistence won him over, and they found themselves sharing another meal at the cafe. Kyoko happened to see them together and, visibly irritated, marched up to their table, asking bluntly if they were dating. Sakura calmly denied it, saying Haruki was simply a close friend. With that, Kyoko left, but not without leaving a tense atmosphere behind. Later, Sakura opened up about Kyoko's stern and protective nature, which had been that way since middle school. Still, she expressed hope that Haruki and Kyoko could one day get along, as Kyoko was genuinely kind beneath her rigid exterior. From the cafe, Sakura and Haruki wandered off to the coast, where they quietly watched the sun dip beneath the waves. There, Haruki asked why Sakura had never told Kyoko about her illness. She explained that she didn't want to burden those around her or disrupt their sense of normalcy. People tended to overreact when faced with such news, turning everyday life into something heavy and unnatural. That's why she had chosen Haruki, because with him, everything still felt beautifully ordinary. That evening, Haruki received an unexpected message from Sakura inviting him on a trip. Uncertain about her intentions, he packed lightly, assuming it would be something casual. But when they met at the train station, he found Sakura standing there with a full suitcase in hand. It became clear this wasn't a short outing. She had planned a longer trip, one that included an overnight stay at a hotel. On the train, Haruki questioned how she had managed to get permission from her parents. Smiling, Sakura revealed that she had told them she was going with Kyoko and that it was her final wish, something her parents couldn't deny. During the journey, she opened her diary and asked Haruki for his first name, realizing she didn't even know it yet. He told her, but asked her not to write it down, worried that after her passing, her family and friends might turn to him with questions he wasn't ready to answer. Sakura simply smiled, accepting his request without protest. Once they arrived at Hakata Station, the two wandered through the city, savoring local cuisine, sightseeing, and shopping for spare clothes since Haruki hadn't brought any. When evening came, they checked into their hotel, only to discover that the room had a single bed. Without complaint, Haruki agreed to stay, choosing to sleep on the couch. Later, while Sakura was showering, she asked Haruki to fetch her face wash from her luggage. As he rummaged through her bag, he came across a large collection of medications, a sobering reminder of the reality Sakura lived with each day. After his own shower, he returned to find that Sakura had ordered an array of snacks, ready to spend the night in good spirits. They decided to play a game of truth or dare, though both repeatedly picked truth, leading them to share stories about their lives. Haruki's questions were dry and unexciting, prompting Sakura to tease him and challenge him to pick dare for once. Her dare was simple yet intimate. She asked him to carry her to the bed. Without hesitation, Haruki gently lifted her in his arms, bringing a delighted smile to her face. When it was his turn to ask, he posed the familiar choice of truth or dare, but found Sakura had fallen asleep. Quietly, he moved to turn off the lights, only for her soft voice to break the silence. She would choose truth. When the lights dimmed and the room fell into quiet, Sakura finally spoke the truth she had hidden behind all her smiles. She admitted that she was, in fact, afraid of dying. Her vulnerability lingered in the silence, a rare moment of raw honesty. Then it was Haruki's turn to choose, and for the first time, he said, "Dare." With a gentle smile, Sakura asked him to sleep on the bed with her, and so they ended up sharing the same space that night, quietly, side by side. The next morning, Sakura received a phone call from Kyoko, who was furious that she had lied about the trip. Despite her anger, Kyoko had managed to cover for her, though she suspected Sakura had gone with Haruki and demanded answers once she returned. After their trip, Haruki began to feel the emptiness of his usual life more acutely. He found himself looking forward to Sakura's messages, waiting for her to invite him somewhere, realizing just how much she had come to mean to him. At school, Kyoko confronted Haruki directly, questioning why Sakura had chosen him over her. Haruki tried to remain silent, protecting Sakura's secret, even as Kyoko hurled accusations and warned him not to toy with her friend's emotions. She made it clear Sakura was fragile, and if she got hurt, Kyoko wouldn't forgive him. Later at the library, Sakura, cheerful as ever, greeted Haruki and asked why he was late. He brushed it off, saying he had something to take care of. Since it was raining, she canceled her initial plan and invited him to her house instead, promising him an interesting book he might like. Intrigued, Haruki accepted. Once they arrived, Sakura suggested they play a game together. In the middle of their lighthearted banter, she encouraged Haruki once again to make more friends, even joking that he might find a girlfriend. Speaking of relationships, Sakura assured him that no matter what happened, their bond wouldn't change. As their conversation drifted through different topics, Haruki stood to pick up the book she had promised. Just then, Sakura quietly wrapped her arms around him from behind, her embrace warm and unexpected. In a soft voice, she told him that this, holding him like that, was another one of her wishes before she died. Sakura, in a moment of bold teasing, confessed another one of her wishes: to do something daring, even a little naughty, with someone who wasn't her boyfriend. She leaned in as if to kiss Haruki, and just as he began to waver, she burst into laughter, saying she was only joking. But Haruki didn't laugh. Instead, overcome by a surge of emotion and confusion, he pushed her onto the bed and stared down at her. Fear flickered across Sakura's face, and she began to cry. The sight jolted Haruki back to reality. He immediately stepped away, guilt flooding through him, and rushed out into the rain. Outside, he crossed paths with Takahiro, who wasted no time confronting him. Demanding answers about his connection with Sakura, Takahiro accused him of hiding something. After all, what kind of relationship involved trips and constant companionship without any real label? Haruki remained silent, unwilling to betray Sakura's trust. Infuriated by his silence, Takahiro punched him. Just then, Sakura arrived, horrified to see Haruki on the ground. It was revealed that Takahiro was her ex-boyfriend, one who had always been overprotective to the point of control. He claimed he was only trying to keep her away from someone he deemed unworthy. Sakura snapped at him, her voice sharp with anger, calling him worse than trash for constantly looking down on others. She demanded that he leave immediately. After Takahiro was gone, Haruki quietly confessed that he regretted becoming close to her, feeling like nothing but trouble had followed since. Perhaps, he thought, it was better for him to remain alone. But Sakura gently countered, saying their relationship wasn't something that needed to be defined. It simply happened. Maybe it was fate.